One of the things I really cherish about our Holy Father, Pope Francis, is his willingness to listen. If you pay any attention to his activities and where he goes and what he does, the countries he visits, the gathering he has with priests from throughout the world, if you watch, just observe him, it's just beautiful to see how he sits there and he listens to those who come to see him. He can't go out to see everybody, but the places he goes, he loves to sit and just listen. And we've discovered over the years what it is he's doing. He's doing more than just listening. He's asking God's Holy Spirit to help him to listen and to know what it is that people are saying to him. He has a responsibility for the entire church. He has a responsibility for you and for me. And he loves the church. And one of his responsibilities is to lead the church forward thinking. So he takes in all this information that people give him. Bishops, I'm sure. His curia, his co-workers at the Vatican, bishops and priests from throughout the world, but especially lay people. He listens. He wants to know. It's wonderful to see him engaged and the various encounters he has with the people that he visits. And so in his wisdom and in his concern for the future of the church, of which you and I are a part, he has inaugurated the Synod of Bishops, which will take place in October of 2023. A synod is it's a gathering. It's like you're familiar with the Vatican Council. That was kind of like a synod, the gathering together of people who are on a pilgrimage together, and their pilgrimage, one with the other, they share and then not just share their thoughts and their feelings about how life and how faith and how the church interfaces with their own life, but then what to do with that information, where to go with that information. And so that's what I love about Pope Francis. And so he's initiated the Synod of a bishop. We're calling it synodality. It's a word we don't really use a lot, but it's a gathering together of the faithful, and it starts on the diocesan and parish level. By the way, it begins this weekend on the 17th, where the bishops of the world are asked to challenge their people, the people entrusted to their care, to challenge them to gather together on the parish level and to share with one another how they see the church, how the church helps them, forms them, or does it. That we're on this spiritual journey together from this life to the next, and how can we make it better? How can we make it easier for each other? You look around church, when you go to church and you see people with whom you're very familiar. But what about so many people in our lives who we know are Catholic, but they're living on the periphery. They're living on the edge, and maybe they don't have a voice in the church that you and I have. Pope Francis wants to hear from them. He wants to know, what are their concerns? What are their worries? Where do they see themselves going? What do they need the church to be for them, other than a place where they might go to Mass? So we're beginning this weekend, and from now until April, our pastors are going to lead our parishes in this discerning process, this time of reflection, this time when we are listening to one another about how the church can be better. I've written a letter which is on our website about synodality, but it also challenges us to say that we don't need a new model. We don't need a new church. We just need a church that is better, and that each of us has an opportunity to be a part of this church by listening to each other in sessions, in gathering groups, and that the church will listen to us, our concerns, and where we see the church progressing or not, and then doing something about that. So I'm inviting you as your bishop to these groups. You'll hear from your pastors about these groups being formed on your parish level. And this is not just like fact gathering or material gathering. This is an opportunity to really to listen to one another, because then we're listening to the church, and we're asking the Holy Spirit to guide and direct us in what we should say. When all this information and all this sharing is completed, then you know who receives this? The Holy Father receives this. Pope Francis receives this information, and he receives enough of what is in your heart and on your mind about the future of the church, and the Holy Spirit to guide him and direct him as he does that for us. So I ask you to pray with me that this synod will be a success, not because of process, not because of data, but because people of faith, just like you, came together, shared with one another their faith and their hopes for the church in the future. God bless you. Please pray for our Holy Father as we begin this very important process in the church. God bless you all.